We have more campaign 2016 coverage. Joining us in studio now is our political analyst, Joe Fleming. Good morning, Joe. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Well, Donald Trump is officially the Republican Party's presidential nominee. The convention is over, but it wasn't without any issues. I mean, there were accusations of plagiarism, Ted Cruz failing to endorse Donald Trump. What is the status of the Republican Party at this point, in your opinion?
Well, the first 3 days of the convention was not what Donald Trump wanted to see. However, last night, I think he did what he wanted to do. He came out there and delivered a message to the United States, America's people, what he sees the country as, that he sees a lot of changes that need to be made, and that if you believe in Donald Trump, you will see these changes if he's the next president.
So what is the status of the Republican Party? Is it a more unified party now than it was before the convention?
Not really. I think Ted Cruz kept that divide there. I think they were trying to unite the party, but I think Ted Cruz kept that divide there. He has some questions. However, what they have done to unite the party is Mike Pence is the vice presidential candidate. That's going to help. He's very conservative. It gives the conservatives a reason to come and support Donald Trump now.
Well, moving on to the Democrats, lots of speculation over who Hillary Clinton may choose as a running mate. We're curious, your opinion. Who will she pick?
Well, I think Senator Kaine is probably one of the leading candidates from Virginia. He adds a lot to the ticket. He's from a swing state. I would expect her to make some announcement either today or tomorrow. By doing that, it's going to take away from the Republicans right away and get things focused on the Democrats. So I don't think they're going to wait long. But I think Kaine at this point is the leading candidate. However, she's keeping it very quiet. There could be a surprise pick in there. I do not expect to see Senator Elizabeth Warren, however.
And why is that? There has been a lot of speculation that she could be in the running.
Well, she might be in the running, but I think a couple of things. One, two females on the ticket they may have a problem with. Secondly, she's very, very liberal. And I think Hillary wants to be liberal, but also a little more moderate at some points. So I think it's more of a balance she's looking for on the ticket. I think Senator Kaine may do that.
Great insight. Now, next Monday, it starts the Democratic National Convention. What can we expect to happen there?
Well, I think you're going to see them try to come across as more united. I think they're going to try to work with the Bernie Sanders people. Bernie Sanders has already come out and said he's supporting Clinton. So I think he's going to have a role in the convention. I think some of Bernie Sanders' positions will be adopted into the Democratic platform. I expect to see a more comic convention. But again, with these conventions, you never know what's going to happen. But I do expect a comic convention, more united, talking about what Barack Obama has done over the past 8 years for this country. And instead of demonizing Obama, they're going to be praising Obama.
All right. Eyewitness News political analyst Joe Fleming, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have more campaign 2016 coverage. Joining us live in studio now is our political analyst Joe Fleming. Good morning, Joe. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
To start, let's talk about Donald Trump. He's officially the Republican nominee. He actually broke a record last night, delivering a 75-minute convention address. Talk a bit about what he said and also what he didn't talk about.
Well, I think one thing he said at the very beginning, which really stuck to me, was he talked about safety, prosperity, and peace. And basically, he based his whole speech on those three things. He really emphasized the safety for the United States. When he started this campaigning, the safety was talking about terrorism and the terrorism thing, but now we're talking about safety with the police and with the violence that's going on in the country. So he's really trying to appeal to that, to the people of the United States. He stressed that. He also demonized Hillary Clinton, which he's done in the past all the time. His speech said a lot of things that was wrong with the country that has to be fixed. But what he didn't do, he did not give specifics about how he's going to fix those things. I think over the next few months, he has to fill in those lines and tell the people of the United States how he's going to fix these problems.
Right now, a turbulent 4 days at the convention. Would you say the Republican Party is any more unified than prior to when the convention started?
Maybe a little bit more, but not much. I think if Ted Cruz did not get up there and not endorse Donald Trump, he would have been more united. But because he went up there and did not endorse Trump, I think people still see the divide in there. There are still some issues that Republicans have with Donald Trump. However, the one thing that is helping Donald Trump is Mike Pence, very conservative, Tea Party person. That will help with the conservatives. And the overwhelming thing, I think, is the United States Supreme Court. The conservatives do not want Hillary Clinton to name the next couple of justices. They rather have Donald Trump name them because they will be conservatives. That will bring the conservatives back in line with Donald Trump and the Republican Party.
All right. Now, speaking of Hillary Clinton, there's a lot of speculation as to who she may pick as a running mate. What are your opinions on the potential candidates?
Well, obviously, the leading candidate right now is Senator Kaine from Virginia, former governor. I think he'll probably add a lot to the ticket. He's from a swing state. He's the leading candidate at this point. But I got to say one thing. The Clinton campaign has really kept it very quiet. They're going to announce it as a surprise, it looks like, either today or tomorrow, more than likely. By doing that right now, it's going to take away the thunder of the Republican convention and shift everything over to the Democrats. But I think Kaine's the main focus right now of most people.
All right, quick question for you, about 30 seconds. The Democratic National Convention kicks off on Monday. How do you think it will differ from the Republican convention?
Well, they will try to make it more of a love fest, if possible, to get the Bernie Sanders people involved, to support Hillary Clinton. They don't want to see divisiveness in the convention like you saw with the Republicans with Ted Cruz. So they're going to try to keep it more focused on Hillary. They're going to also talk about the Obama administration, the progress of the last 8 years, what he inherited to where the country is today.
All right, thank you so much, Eyewitness News political analyst Joe Fleming. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
And if you want more campaign 2016 coverage, just head over to our website, WPRI.com. We have more campaign 2016 coverage. Joining us now live in studio is our political analyst, Joe Fleming. Thank you so much for joining us, Joe. So the Republican National Convention is officially over.
Right.
4 days filled with some controversial
Correct.
moments, plagiarism in speeches. Ted Cruz didn't actually endorse Donald Trump. But let's talk a bit about the positives that came out of the convention for the Republican Party.
Well, the positive is I think they have a better chance to get the conservatives on board with Donald Trump now because of his vice presidential nominee, because of the threat of Hillary Clinton naming Supreme Court justices. That's a plus for the Republicans. I think last night Donald Trump gave a good speech for the Republicans to try to unite the Republican Party. A lot of issues to their core values. I think that's a plus for the Republican Party.
And what's next for the GOP?
Well, I think the GOP now has to get their campaign together. They have to start working on a ground game throughout the country. Again, we're talking about 50 different elections on Election Day because of the Electoral College. There's really 8 states that come into play. I think they're going to concentrate on those 8 states, trying to cut into there. If they can make inroads in those 8 states and win some of those states, he'll be in a good position for the election.
All right, now on Monday, the Democratic National Convention kicks off in Philadelphia.
Right.
What can we expect there?
Well, I think we're going to expect things happening before the convention starts. I think Hillary Clinton is going to name her VP either today or tomorrow. That's going to take the thunder away from the Republicans, which is, I'm sure, part of their plans. When the convention starts, I think they're going to try to show more of a united party than the Republicans. They're going to try to get Bernie Sanders involved, show that he's supporting Hillary Clinton strongly, try to get his supporters on board, that she's more in line with Bernie Sanders than Donald Trump is. And they're going to try to show more unity. However, Democrats in the past have not shown unity when things go certain ways, and they do argue at times, but they're going to really try to keep it together and show a united party.
Now, you mentioned we're expecting an announcement soon from Hillary Clinton on her vice presidential pick. In your opinion, who will it be?
Well, I think the leading candidate is Tim Kaine, senator from Virginia. He's the leading candidate this time. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be. They've kept it very quiet. I think they've already decided who it is, but she's kept it to her inner circle. But he's the leading candidate this time. But it could be somebody else. There's no question. There's a lot of other people. The Secretary of Agriculture, Secretary of Labor are also people. The senator from New Jersey, Cory Booker, is also someone who's being considered. So there's a lot of possibilities, but I think Tim Kaine is probably the leading candidate at this point.
And we'd heard mentioned possibilities that, Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren might be considered. Why do you think Clinton would kind of stray away from her?
Well, I don't think she wants to see 2 women on the ticket. And I think more importantly is Elizabeth Warren is very liberal. She's probably one of the most liberal Democrats, and I think that could hurt her with the moderates as the campaign goes on. When her husband ran in 1992, Bill Clinton moved more towards the center. I think she wants to try to do the same thing if all possible. It's going to be a little harder for her. But if she put Elizabeth Warren on the ticket, she's really out to the left, and that would hurt her ticket.
All right, thank you so much, our expert political analyst, Joe Fleming, and thank you again for joining us.
Pleasure.
If you want more campaign 2016 coverage, just head to our website, WPRI.com.